Ladies and gentlemen, sit back and enjoy Mega Meeple.
Greetings and welcome to the Mega Meeple. This is Thomas Grogan and this is episode 77 and holy hell! How many people out there thought that they would never hear that ever again? Some of you are probably glad, but hey, get used to disappointments. So, and I'm getting a big reverb. I changed locations here briefly to record this episode. So we may sound a little bit different. I mean, my equipment is the same, the mic is the same, but the room is different. So it's been a while, and I haven't even done anything for Board Game Breakfast since before Thanksgiving. But if you've gone to my YouTube channel and watched my November-December vlog, you found out why. So I've spent the past 2 months at least just recovering and recouping and get my body back on level, on baseline. So, but yeah, I am back again. I think I just did one podcast in December. And I didn't even do much with it. It was just a quick interview for a Kickstarter that was going on at that time. And it was one of those really quick things that just, okay, let's just get this recorded and get it out there and leave me alone. So, but I'm back. I'm back. Yes, and as I said, this is episode 77. So, if you're a new listener, yes, welcome. Yeah, well, I'm usually not as weird as this. I'm usually weirder. But, you'll get used to it. I have a tendency to grow on people, like a mold. Anyway, but if you haven't already, go visit the website. Yeah, the website's still live, still up there. Hasn't gone anywhere. It's www.themegameeple.com. Go to the social media page. All of our links are there where you could like and follow and comment and share and all that other kind of stuff. Subscribe on YouTube and you'll be able to see some of the videos that I put out just within this past month. And if you haven't already, go to iTunes, subscribe, put out some of that 5-star loving. Leave us a happy review. It really helps out. And if you really like the show and the videos on the YouTube channel, we have a Patreon and a Pod Pledge. Different tiers and levels that you could support the show are pretty much the same on both of those. So something as small as $1 a month really helps out. You could get a shout out. You get if you're supporting the YouTube channel, you get your name listed as a producer at the end. Also for the YouTube channel, if you're a subscriber there and a Patreon or Pod Pledge, you are entered into the monthly game giveaway that I have going on over there. Or for the podcast, you could even be a special guest co-host on one of the episodes. But if you can't support the show or the YouTube channel, just spread the word. I mean, share with all your friends. Let people know that there's yet another cool podcast and a YouTube channel about gaming. So that is also very appreciated, and I'm very grateful for you guys downloading and listening. And just being patient and just waiting because people. I think I read these tweets and of fellow content creators. Some of them, I think they put just way too much pressure on themselves. Now, I mean, if this was a job, if I was relying on this stuff for income, I could understand where it's like, you're really under stress and pressure to put a lot of content out there, regardless of how you feel or what your health is like. But I've maintained this for the entire past 76 episodes that I've done this, and the little over a year that I've been doing the YouTube videos. Yeah, but I've maintained from the very beginning that I'm just doing this for the fun of it. I do this because I enjoy games and I enjoy talking about games. There's real no stress or pressure that I put on myself to do all these things over and over, on a weekly basis. Even though for the past year and a half, I've done pretty damn well putting these things out on a weekly basis. And I've always said, if for every reason that I suddenly stopped doing this, you could one of two possibilities exist. Either A, I've gotten sick and I need to recover and recoup and take care of myself, and because I stuff like that, I come first. I got to take care of myself for me to even be able to put any resemblance of a show out there. I mean, hell, even the one podcast episode I put out in December, I wasn't feeling well, and I think you guys could tell. I was like, all right, hey, I'm here, and here's the interview that I did. Here it is. Enjoy. I offered, as far as commentary or introductions or stuff like that, or exposition of what was going on, I didn't even bother offering that. So I just that one episode was just strictly the interview for that Kickstarter that was going on. Yeah, or the other possibility of my absence is I'm dead. I'm dead. And good luck in getting any more content from me. Well, actually, there's a third one, and the third possibility is that I'm just no longer interested in gaming, and I don't want to. I don't want to do it anymore. Or I don't want to do the podcast or the videos anymore. Because it's a beautiful thing when you don't have the stress on you to have to put these things out all the time and constantly be on. It's like, all right, if I feel up to doing a podcast, if I feel up to doing a video, and then all the crap I have to go through to edit the damn thing, I'll do it. If I don't feel like doing it, guess what? It's not going to get done. So, but yeah, that's the benefit of being retired. I enjoy my retirement, and one of the beautiful things, if you live long enough, and your mind and body is at least in a good enough condition to enjoy your retirement, then that one of the benefits of retirement is you get to do whatever the hell you want. And if you don't feel like doing that particular thing, guess what? You don't do it. You do something else. So that's that. Well, this one of the cool things that happened this past weekend is now if you've been following the press releases and the news and stuff like that with Snakes and Lattes up in Toronto, Canada, they've opened up a store in Arizona, and they also have like a short list of, say, at least a dozen or so cities that they are looking into opening up Snakes and Lattes in that city. Well, I was contacted, I guess about a week and a half ago. It was earlier last week from Ben from Snakes and Lattes saying, hey, Aaron and I are going to be in Charlotte this weekend, and we would like to get together with you and some other people and just talk about the gaming community and what the gaming landscape is here in Charlotte. So that was really neat. So we this past Saturday night, me as well as some other fellow area podcasters. In fact, Marty was there from Rolling Dice and Taking Names. It was good to touch base with him again. Had a few store owners that were there. And we just met up with Ben and Aaron and just, powwowed and talked to them about Charlotte to basically help them in their, they were basically on a information gathering mission. So they visited here in Charlotte. And it was great meeting them. Cool guys. It was neat to not only be able to offer, my own opinions and views and takes on what the Charlotte gaming community and landscape is here, but it was neat to not only to touch base again with other people in the gaming community and some of the store owners and managers. Because in Charlotte, in the surrounding area, there's at least a half a dozen game stores that you could go to. So it's neat to touch base with them again and just hear their take and their perspective on things. Because that's one of the reasons why I'm so into like the inclusiveness of the gaming community. Because nobody's an island, so and that's one of the things that I enjoy about most of the game stores in this area is that there's not this us and them mentality. It's like we're all in the same. We're all part of the same community. We're all doing the same thing. We're all enjoying games, and we all want to branch out and introduce our love of gaming and the hobby to other people. Because chances are, if we enjoy the hobby and we enjoy the social aspect of the hobby, then we want to share that enjoyment and love of a hobby to other people. And at least give them the awareness and the exposure of, hey, this is a cool thing that you could do. This is a fun thing that you could do. Want to check it out? And, give them the opportunity to check it out. And if they like it, cool. We've another gamer has, been added to the fold, so to speak. And if that, if hobby gaming is not for them, well, that's fine too. At least they were able to make a well-informed decision on whether this hobby is for them or to their liking. It's a community effort, and that's one of the things that Snakes and Lattes is looking to do. Whatever city they decide to branch out and plant their next store in, but they seem very impressed with Charlotte. They liked our weather, considering that it was only 40-some degrees out in the middle of at the beginning of January. So once they make an official decision of what their next city is, if Charlotte is the one, then you could definitely count on having Ben and Aaron on the show. Talking about that, and we're going to be, collaborating with them and getting the word out and just advertise the hell out of that because, it's a good thing coming to Charlotte. Anything that helps expand the gaming community and gives one more haven, in a sense, for gamers to go and play, that's a good thing. With the new year comes new videos. I'm trying to, and I have a list of things of videos for the YouTube channel that I would have put out. But the first two is usually a no-brainer. I have my top 10 games, at least according to me, of 2018. And then I have, about a week later, I put out the top 10 most anticipated games for 2019 that I'm anticipating and looking forward to, at least of the list of games that have been announced thus far for 2019. So I have both of those videos on the YouTube channel. to go check that out. If you haven't already, go ahead and make sure you subscribe and hit the little belly thingy or whatever the hell YouTube is doing it now. It seems like they change it every month. But yeah, you know what to do with that. Speaking of YouTube, I am starting this month a new account, a new channel. Now, it's not exclusively gaming, but I'll explain to you why I'm mentioning it here. It's called What's Your Pleasure? And it is a channel. It's not going to be a podcast. It's going to be strictly YouTube channel videos. And I'll also cross post on a Facebook page. But I'm basically, one of the things I like is horror and monster movies. I remember the very first horror, thriller, suspense movie I saw was The Changeling. And that was a Canadian film with George C. Scott. And that was one of those movies that I was stupid enough to watch it when there was a very rather active thunderstorm going on outside, and that just added to the atmosphere and the ambiance of the movie. But yeah, I love horror, I love thriller, I love suspense, and anything like that. So I've started a new YouTube channel where I'm going to be showcasing anything horror. And it could be anything from movies to TV shows to literature, music, movie scores. But another thing I'll be covering, and this is why I'm mentioning it here during a gaming podcast, is how many frickin' games out there are Cthulhu-based or H.P. Lovecraft, has anything to do with H.P. Lovecraft, or zombies, or monsters, or going insane, or, fighting and killing demon creatures. How many games are out there like that? So it's pretty obvious that is a draw for gamers. That theme is a draw for a lot of gamers. So I'm sure that there's a good circle of my listeners that are really into, if they're into horror-based themed games, then, chances are they may enjoy, horror-based movies or theater or literature or books or anything like that. Now, they're as far as like movies and TV shows, there are different types of horror. You got your slasher flicks and your blood gore crap. But you also have your slow burns, your more psychological thrillers, stuff like that. And for those gamers that may like horror-themed games, you may not have ever read a book by Clive Barker or Ray Bradbury. It's just, broaden your horizons, expand your palette in the horror genre. So if you like horror-themed board games, check out What's Your Pleasure, which is my new YouTube/Facebook channel page, whatever. I will put a link in the show notes of this episode for that. You go check that out. And my very first video that I'm going to be putting out is I will be going through the first issue of the revamped. See what I did there? Vampires. The resurgence of the magazine Fangoria. So I'll be going over page by page of that magazine to showcase. I'm not going to be reading anything from there. I'm just going to be, in a sense, unboxing. If you like unboxings, or it's basically an unveiling of the very first issue. Actually came out in October, just in time for Halloween. But the second issue is coming out here very soon, like within the next week and a half. So that will be my premiere initial first video to the channel. All right, now this episode, my guest has a Kickstarter that's just about to finish up. So if you haven't already, you better get your ass over there and back this thing because it looks like a pretty cool game. But I have Constantine Panagopoulos. I do a better job pronouncing that during the actual interview. Mainly because I asked him how to pronounce his name before we started recording. I gave a trade secret out there. Now you know what we do. Yeah, we're not as intelligent as we sound. You know, a lot of this stuff we try to figure out before we hit the record button. You know, that way we sound real nice and intelligent and professional. Yeah, right. But anyway, he is with Vesuvius Media, and the Kickstarter is Nocturion. So we can check that out. So let's go to that interview right now. All right. Welcome back to the Mega Meeple. And starting the new year, our first interview, of course, with a Kickstarter. What else? What do we typically do? But our first guest of 2019 is with Vesuvius Media.
Yes.
Okay. And we're talking with Constantine. How are you doing? How you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Be glad to be here with you today, actually.
Yeah. It's Monday morning. I just got some coffee in me, so let's see how long it takes for it to kick in.
No worries.
But we're talking about actually a successful Kickstarter that at this time right now has a few days left in it. But
about a week and a day.
Yep. So
we generally run small campaigns. We don't drag it too much, so we're almost a little bit after the mid campaign right now.
Okay. Yep. So people still have some time to jump on board.
Yes.
They want to be able to back this, and we're talking about Nocturion. Now, Constantine, you, as I understand it, you designed the original game that was online. Is that right?
Yes, many years ago, it was 2013, 12 that we started, 2014 that we tried to launch it. And me and Mark Alexander. Mark Alexander is the guy behind the world of Nocturion. So he designed the world, the characters, the areas, the creatures, the events, the politics behind the scenes. And I created an online game, strategy, multiplayer, MMORPG to be exact, that was launched through browser and Facebook back in the days in 2014.
Okay.
Was the first time. We actually did an Indiegogo campaign back then and successfully gathered the funds to start the game and the process of developing. Some years later, we have now a really cool board game designer that came up with a nice idea, and we ported the world to a really cool board game.
All right. Well, let's go back to the day that you met Mark Alexander, and how did you guys connect? And tell us about how that meeting went.
Well, that's a good start of a story. Well, we met playing live role-playing games back in a couple of decades ago. We were playing Vampires: The Masquerade,
okay.
which was a live role-playing game, which means there are no papers. You do rock, paper, scissors when you're trying to, instead of rolling dice, and you role-play, actually play. You dress, we have dress code, we meet, and we play games. Oh, wow. That's how we started. We both had a big background in playing Dungeons & Dragons. He started from first edition, I started from the second edition, and moved forward. And that's how we met. That's how we got together. And at some point, we decided to start creating our own games. And one thing led to the other. I have a PhD in computer science, so for me it was, I already had the technical expertise to create an online game. He's extremely good at writing stories, creating worlds, creating fictional characters. We hired an artist, and magic started happening.
Okay, cool. As it usually does with something like that. Wow. So now,
Yeah.
how close? Okay, we got the Kickstarter going live right now. So
Yes.
how close is the board game to the original online game?
Uh, I would say the only connection between them is theme and
Okay.
storyline.
Okay.
The mechanics itself have nothing to do. The online and the board game, you are pretty much playing the same era, but in a different perspective. In the online game, you actually build the cities, you create the armies yourself, and you fight other players. Whereas here, it is in a more political level, where each player assumes the role of the ruler of one of the noble houses of the area, and they are trying to manipulate and gather and use their resources to gain the favor of Alexius IV, which is the emperor right now, trying to rebuild the empire. Okay. It is a little bit different. It's the same. It's a different point of view. But when you port to a board game, you can't always follow the exact mechanics of an online game, and that looks way better. The final board game is a worker placement game, which has a unique feature of using dice as its workers, and at the same time has a really cool way of tracking time within the game by having a clock mechanism in the middle of the board that is affected by players' actions. So players can control whether the game will go fast or whether the game will go slow, depending on their strategy and their plans.
Okay. So the people, even the people that play the online game, they could still be able to play the board game and still get a whole new
they will
experience.
They will see the same stuff. Like they will see the same buildings, they will see the same monsters, the same quests, the same lore behind the game. It's just that you approach the same things with a slightly different, with a different mechanic.
Okay. And that goes. That's a benefit the other way too, because it's like, if people never played the online game, it's be like, well, I can't play the board game because I don't understand. So
exactly, one is not a requirement of the other.
Excellent.
If you enjoy the world of Nocturion, you will probably enjoy both, but it's a different type of game style and everything else.
Okay, good. So. Yeah. Now, the Kickstarter is going until January 15th, and as we said, it is successfully funded, so it will see the light of day, as we say.
Yes, definitely.
And so if all things go well, as the logistics of Kickstarter as it is, the estimated delivery is August of this year.
Yes, it is, and we usually manage to deliver on time. We want to also have Gen Con pickup for this game. Gen Con is at the beginning of August. I think it's 1st to the 4th this year. So it is a little bit hard deadline for us to be ready in August. So we're aiming actually for July delivery so that we can have also the game in US ready for Gen Con to be picked up. But we will see. Up until now, we have successfully finished 7 Kickstarters, delivered 6 of them. The 7th is in the process of being produced as we speak. It's going to be delivered in April. And the 8th is Nocturion. So we've been relatively good. Worst case scenario, we have about a month of delay. Sometimes we have even delivered a month earlier. Depends on how the schedule will go. Usually, so far, the surprises we have are with customs and internal transports and processing times from the hubs that we're using rather than our own production schedule.
Okay. And now on the Kickstarter, they have a thing on there of Echoes of Immortality.
Yes, this is a really cool graphic novel. It's the first part of a trilogy, which follows the story of Moira, a girl that is, I don't want to give too much, but it's a girl that looks like she's just another casual girl, but she's actually tied within the lore of the world in a way more sinister manner. And the cool thing about this story is that Moira travels pretty much through many different areas of the world of Nocturion. So by following her travels, you get a really cool idea of how the world operates, what are the different functions that you meet, what are the different masters, what are the different people, politics, and everything that is going through the world of Nocturion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a way for people that never played the online game to kind of get up to speed as far as the lore and the universe of Nocturion.
Yeah, we have plans to expand on the world of the Nocturion, so we definitely have 2 more graphic novels coming up to finish the story of Moira, and we have ideas and plans about spin-off and sequels to Nocturion, the board game itself, because the online game has a huge amount of lore, so we just scratched the surface with this game.
Okay. And even as we speak, you guys are still unlocking quite a few stretch goals going on.
Yes.
So.
Yes, it's true, and we have more to come. We're going to our final stage. So we have unlocked all the major ones that we wanted to hit to complete the game to what we wanted it to be, as far as content is concerned and mechanics. Now we have some really cool deluxe upgrades left, which we're pretty confident we're going to hit all of them. So that, because we started with resin and plastic tokens, we are now upgrading them to alloy metal.
Oh, okay.
Some of them.
Wow.
Yes, so the deluxe edition comes with 63 right now tokens. 23 of them, we want them to be metal. 10 of them are going to be plastic. And 20 of them, we have them as resin but pre-painted so that it looks really cool and has the feeling that we want. So things are going to be looking awesome by the end of the campaign.
Excellent. Now, can you tell us about the beasts? Usually in a game, it's the beasts are the ones that you have to like fight against or that's working against you. And it looks like you have some beasts here that actually that help you along.
In the world of Nocturion, you can tame beasts and have them work for you to kill other more powerful beasts, and so on. So what happens here is that the beasts are pretty much gives you to your character special abilities. Each beast comes with its own unique ability, but in addition to that, you can also use the beasts to manipulate the dice. So because the dice, remember, as I said at the beginning, are your workers, depending on the pips, you can place them at certain locations. Sometimes you want to adjust the strategy and you don't want to activate a certain location, you want to activate some other, you don't have the correct pips, then you can use beasts to manipulate the dice, change the pip number, and go use the location that you want. Of course, at a cost, because you have to decide whether it's worth going for another location and losing the beast ability, because you cannot do both the beast ability and use it for dice manipulation. It has many cool ways to adjust your strategy and form your battle plan in order to become the most formidable noble house in Nocturion.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's Nocturion. So you got to check the art is beautiful. The theme is fantastic. If you've played the online game, you gotta check this one out. This is a good continuation and exploration of the lore that you've probably got really familiar with. And for those of you who've never played the online game, still check this out. It's not, you don't have a prerequisite. You could jump in right into the board game and still get a lot out of it. So, Constantine, thank you so much for joining us this week as our first guest of 2019.
Thank you very much for giving me this option.
So, actually, I have the Kickstarter window up here, and just as I was saying that, you just gained about 3 more backers, so
Nice.
it's still going strong. But yes, the Kickstarter is going until January 15th. Now, if people want to find out more about you or Vesuvius or even the game, or
They can follow us on Kickstarter. They can follow us on Facebook, Twitter. We're extremely active. We have our own webpage where they can find more information about anything that they want. The core, we have several different games, other board games other than Nocturion. Generally, what we aim for is 2 to 4 players at the very least. We try to do also co-op and solo games. But our main goal is 30, 45 minutes of game time. Okay. So that you can always have the option of gathering your friends and having a really cool board game night without having to go through 2 hours rule books and then 3 hours of gameplay, right?
Right.
So we even have a really cool 8-minute how to play video of Nocturion online right now on the campaign by Cardboard Stacker, in which he goes through all the major rules of the game in a graphical and a really cool way, so you don't even have to read the rule book if you want to play.
Okay. Now, and of course, we'll have links to those things in the show notes of this episode. Now, if people, once they play the board game, is the online game still active and able to
yes,
play?
Of course.
If the board game whets their appetite, they can say, I want to go check this online game out.
Yes, of course.
Okay, cool.
Just Google it. There's no other.
All right.
With this name, we're definitely playing solo, so it's very easy to find us.
Excellent. All right, Konstantin. Well, thank you so much again, and Happy New Year, and congratulations on a successful Kickstarter.
Thank you very much, and Happy New Year to you too.
All righty then. Well, thank you so much for hitting that download button. And you want to join us again next week, as my guest will be Eric Rail. I think I pronounced that correct. He is a video documentary producer. He has a documentary coming out with basically interviewing and showcasing the landscape of board gamers. Eric does a documentary showcasing that and just the history of board games and all the big heavy hitter players that's involved with that and why they do it. So if you want to get to the pulse of the board game insider type thing, you want to check out that interview next week. Now, I want to, before I sign off here, I want to talk about, as I said, as you know, it's been about 2 months since I put regular content out. But I gotta say, when I check because I track my weekly downloads and times that episodes are listened to from iTunes and from the website, and I must say, for the past 2 months, not only have I had a uptick and upswing of listeners, and even a high retention of people not only listening to the most recent episodes. Well, at that time it was back in around Halloween, early November, or something like that. But they've also gone back and listened to the whole back catalog archives of previous episodes for the past year and a half. And on a weekly basis, that number has maintained throughout. So it's really, I just find it really wild because people say, and going back to what I was talking about, people putting stress and pressure on themselves to constantly put content out there. Because, you're told a lot of times as a content creator, you got to be consistent. You got to keep putting stuff out. You got to keep putting stuff out. You got to be consistent every time, all the time. Do the timetable, all the time. I have not put out any substantial content for the past 2 months. I've been too busy, taking care of myself and recovering and recouping and getting back to baseline. I haven't put anything out. But yet, during that time, where I wasn't putting any content out, hardly, there was an increase of my listenership and my downloads. Hell, I even gained a frickin' Patreon supporter during that time. I have not seen just not only an increase, but a retention and of the numbers consistently on a weekly basis. Those numbers have been consistently throughout every week over the past 2 months, just by me sitting on my ass and doing almost nothing. So, yeah. So those of you who are, and I don't know, for people that are relying on this stuff to make a living and feed themselves, you know, you may have a different situation, but for me, yeah, hell, if me getting an increase in listenership and gaining some Patreon supporters, I mean, someone's gonna pay me to shut up and not do anything. Sure, I'll do that. Anyway, that was just an interesting observation that I've made over the past, particularly the past 2 or 3 weeks, as I was getting ready to, okay, when am I going to come back and start doing these podcasts again? So anyway, it's good to be back. Thank you all so much for your patience and just hanging in, and all your thoughts and prayers and happy vibes being sent my way. They really made a difference. So all your help and encouraging words mean a hell of a lot to me. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it very much. So I will be back again next week, I promise. Unless, of course, you know, I get in the hospital again or I die. So yeah, new year, new energized vision and stuff like that. Yeah, whatever. I just got to the point where I felt well enough to be able to do these things again. That's about it. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you will join us again next week. Until then, this is Tom, the Mega Meeple, saying we'll see you at the gaming table.